Repeat. Count 7, 4, end.
I put out the call and you guys did respond, and I appreciate that. Over on Facebook, we put up a poll asking what did you guys want to see for the next Tacticool show, and overwhelmingly you guys wanted me to do Walkie Talkies. But there is one thing that needs to be addressed, and even if it's just for myself, this is a radio. This is a walkie-talkie. Walkie-talkies were used back in World War II, and this is that huge backpack thing that you see in some of the movies. And yeah, it might be a thing of semantics, but it's one of those things that just grates me. And a part of me really shouldn't care one way or the other because, oh, well, people call it whatever they want to call it, but by the same token, if you're using a radio, call it a radio. If you're using a walkie-talkie, then you better be a reenactor because those things are heavy, man. So let's talk a little bit about radios. Now, radios that you can pick up these days are really inexpensive for what you're getting. You get a lot of power out of them and a lot of versatility. Couple that with some of the cool add-ons that you can get, like throat mics and remote push-to-talk buttons, and you've got something that can really add a lot of functionality to your game. The downside is the person on the other side of the line, because I cannot tell you how many times I spent the better part of half an hour listening to some big fat guy breathing in my ear the entire time because he didn't understand what voice activated and push to talk meant. And if it's one thing that bothers me, it's when a big fat guy, and I have a backlog of stories of electronic warfare stuff, and I could really make some good war stories out of that, but if you kind of know what you're doing and you figure a couple of things out, you can spy on the other team, you can figure out what they're doing, you can just mess with their heads. There's a lot of potential here. There is one other thing that does get me about radios, and that is if you don't have a team, radios are pretty much useless. I have gone to big games and events where I happen to have a radio, and either nobody else has a radio, or the people that do have radios don't want to talk to anybody but their own small little group. Yeah, one of those things. Somebody pointed on Facebook this is going to be a really short show, and it kind of is, because that's really basically about it. So let's throw the graphic up here. So where do we put this one? We're going to put this one way on the tactical side of things, because this is a really useful thing to have, providing that everybody else in your group has one, and they kind of understand things like radio discipline. The only thing that could possibly tip the arrow back onto the cool side of things is if there's some idiot on the other side who thinks, oh, I'm in a scenario game, I'm going to throw all the military jargon that I know. Yeah, if you're doing that, you're just trying too hard. The basic rule of radios, keep it simple. Not very difficult.